Hello, so today's gonna be a pretty fun one, if you ask me. It's gonna be a Midnight Siphon game. So I played this augment I think 3 times total. This is like the third time. I posted one of them already, but it wasn't a very good video because it was just like a stream VOD, and I never hit Yorick 3. It was like a pretty reliable 4th that I was able to get, and I just wanted to post it because, you know, Midnight Siphon is just so strong in a lot of these setups. So it's just something you should always keep in the back of your head. A lot of the hero augments, if you have a good spot for any of them, they're all extremely strong, right? Lucky Paws, I've done 2 videos on that. If you haven't seen Lucky Paws, what's it called? Drop Blossom, especially now that they buffed Nico quite a bit. Drop Blossom is also very strong. In this game, it's Lilia Encounter. So Lilia Encounter just means that augments are random and they're not showing up for a while, right? So, or like they could show up like start of next round, we don't know for sure, right? So, you know, we just gotta try our best to figure out when we actually spike, right? The biggest thing with Lilia that I find is that you want to play boards that are very, very strong, because you don't get an augment that either gives you direction or gives you like a certain amount of power. There's no econ augments that it can give you, so you're kind of playing like almost as if it's like augmentless. And I remember like a big meta thing to do before. There used to be a portal called a portal that is called, what was it called? They changed it, like at one point it was called Stillwater Hold. And on that portal, a lot of people would just dedicate themselves to rerolls. Just because like it's a lot easier to manage your board strength if you're just playing something that's a lot more like consistent. And a lot of people that were like greeding to like play like these higher cap boards, because you're not getting the resources, you usually can't cap them out as high as you can, just a reroll if you have a spot for a reroll, right? In this case, I'm not really thinking like what exactly can I angle, right? I'm holding on to like it's kind of awkward because like I have 2 3 costs. Usually you just sell them, but they're both like really strong. This one's like a good fortune one, which fortune could be like a way to get like resources. So the Zoe's really strong. I have Arcanist, which, you know, I could play towards Arcanist reroll because I already have this Ari. My items though aren't really Arcanist kind of setup of items, which kind of sucks, right? Like I want to slam an item ideally so that I can be really strong. So here I have what's it called? I have a Sunder Gun, right? I have Last Whisper. So that's why I'm kind of holding on to this Aphelios. I could have easily just sold a bunch of stuff and make econ. I'm not really holding the other fortune units. I think I saw Kabuko, but I sold it because I'm kind of dead. I kind of decided that I'm not going to go for it, right? The problem with this Arcanist line is that it's going to take me a while to get items, right? I don't have a single tier. I don't have a single rod. If I don't get dropped rods and tiers on Krugs, I'm definitely fucked, right? So it's a bit hard to like dedicate myself to like an AP comp when I have like a really, really good AD comp item, right? So now I get Artifact Anvil. So artifacts, if you look here, like I could have maybe done like some kind of weird melee build with the Cutlass, but I just take Eternal Winter. So just a quick little look at the, I'll show you the stats for that just in a second. So let me just go stats, boom, Orn items, placement. Eternal Winter is one of the best ones. It kind of sucks because like the best Orn items are still the best Orn items, like Diamond Hand, Zanya, Snipers, Eternal Winter. And a lot of these other ones that they added, like Wit's End is really good on like Bard, just because it like synergizes really well. Manazane works really well. Mittens is pretty good. I usually see Mittens on like Duelist build, but a lot of these are just generally like the stronger ones. The other ones, what was it, like Wit's End, Luden's Tempest was here, right? That one still sucks, right? Spectral Cutlass sucks a lot. Usually play on Kane, but like it still sucks. And then my other option was I don't know what my other option was. So Eternal Winter is really good because a lot of the comps really like attack speed, and having like the stun and the chill on an item is just very, very strong. It used to be one of the most broken items in the game. I think they changed the way it works a little bit, but it used to be even more broken. I'm still holding like these AD units. I kind of just decide to just go towards like an AD line here. So I have this Kiana. If you didn't watch my video very recently, I was talking about how Kiana is very broken and Kiana is very strong. I usually do this in most games, like if I'm ever playing like an AD comp, or if I'm playing towards like you know, if I have two Kianas, so I probably will hit Kiana 2 at one point. So I usually just itemize the Kiana for like early to mid game, and she kind of goes infinite. I think her best set of items, I think if you're dedicating like full Kiana build, which I might just try a reroll Kiana line, right? Because there's like I'm kind of investigating and trying to like look at stats and experiment, but I think there's a way to play Kiana reroll without duelist primary. And what you do is you reroll Kiana and Nico because they're both heavenly, and then you build like some kind of like jazzy kind of like all these synergies stockpiled on top of each other, and you play like 4 duelist. I'm not sure about it yet, so I'm not going to show you guys a build or like understand. But all you have to know is Kiana's best items. If you didn't watch the other video that I posted, I recommend you try it. You check it out. But Last Whisper and Edge of Night. Edge of Night, I think, is her best item. It really unlocks a lot of her, because it gives her attack speed. It gives her that sustain. She kind of just starts spinning and going infinite. So over here, I'll probably just make a Edge of Night, right? And this Kiana should be able to streak me or be relatively strong. Like, I'll be relatively stable for most of stage 2 and probably stage 3 if I hit the Kiana 2. And that's my plan right now. I know this video is going to eventually turn into a Midnight Siphon game. I'll talk a lot about, like, how to play Midnight Siphon and, like, the build and all of that shit. The problem is just, it's a little bit fucked because, as you can see, Lilia gave an augment, giving a augment right here. So I'm thinking of taking Exiles or Harmisters. These are both okay for Duelist, right? Exiles a little bit hard because sometimes you have to position a bit weird. But Caretakers is what I end up taking. And it gives me a Yorick, and there's a Yorick in my shop, so now I have a Yorick too. So yeah, I guess I'm just playing Yorick right now. So Lilia shows up, Caretakers, Yorick. That's the first step in this build path. I think this is one of the, I think out of augments, I think this is the most high roll augment selection I've had in my lifetime, which we'll talk about it when we get there. But this game is going to be funny, it's going to be crazy, and hopefully it's entertaining. But I kind of gave like my idea. I'm trying to see if anybody's playing like Umbral, right? I could play Umbral reroll. So what I'll do is I'll put these items on a Yone, and then I'll like build towards a Loon, and I can put this. I basically sold the Nico instantly because now that I'm playing Yorick, I'm not really too focused on playing like a Kiana reroll line because I think it's a little bit too much of a cook, right? Going for Yorick 3 and Kiana 3 and Nico 3, and then maybe this guy for like Heavenly, right? Like it makes some sense, but at the same time, it's like I think it's a little bit of an overcook, right? Because if I'm playing these and I have to play Umbral, then Duelist, like there's a way to make it work. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like a little bit too spicy, right? But that's what I was trying to think about. Like I think I had a tab open. I was on like a team planner trying to see if I can make it work. But like what I was thinking is like this forms like a nice little pair of 4 that gives me all of these traits, right? So then like after that, it's just a matter of adding like extra Umbral or extra Duelist, right? That's an option, right? So, or extra Heavenly. So it's an option, but at the same time, I was like, maybe I'll see what happens. But I sold the Nico because in any case, I think my next in is going to be a Loon. Just because the Loon's very, very strong. A Loon gives some utility as well. She does a little bit of magic resist shred. So that's great. But yeah, this Kiana is just kind of going infinite. I have this Yorick now. I have an upgraded unit just for free. A lot of people, like, in terms of silver augments, usually it's not that much of a power spike. Mine is an insane power spike because I not only did I get the Yoricks, I also got the Yorick 2 from my shop. So I am just very, very strong, right? Which is very, very important to note, because whenever you have a silver augment, the one thing that you have to note, the one thing you have to take account for is that oh, I sold the Aloon for Econ. Yeah, that sucks, but it's okay. Aloon should have been my next in, but I needed to make Econ, so I think Econ's more important. So yeah, I'm still not sure, but basically I'm kind of thinking of playing around this set of 4, and then maybe playing either Vertical Umbral or playing like a Heavenly Duelist setup. Something else to note is that if you see I have one Exalted in, Yorick is also an exalted this game. I don't know why it's the case. Every time I get Caretaker's Yorick, it's always an exalted unit. I don't know if this Yorick is just always exalted or some shit. But this is like, I think this is the second time I got Caretaker's Yorick and Yorick was exalted. Which is really funny to me. Anyways, as a small interlude, let's do our little... Thank you for all the support. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We're going to have an RP giveaway at 500 subs. We just finished our previous giveaway, so make sure to subscribe if you want to be entered in that. And follow the instructions when we get close to our goal. Thank you. Alright, so if we look here, there's going to be 2 back-to-back augments right around carousel round. So all the augments are very front-loaded, which is not necessarily the greatest in a lot of cases, but it is a lot nicer because sometimes Lilia augments are all the way at the end of the game and then it becomes like a shit show, right? And that's what I mean by like sometimes it feels like Stillwater where like you're playing without augments at all. There are some things to look out for. This guy has like a mythic +1 because there was a spat on carousel, right? For me, it's like I'm trying to play towards this line. I probably want to either play towards Kiana, which I'll play like a 3-star Kiana, or I'll play like a Yone. And I might just like try and reroll a little bit on like 7 or 8, right? Having this Yorick is really nice though, as like a stabilization point. So this is me trying to like think up my cookery. Darius 2 is nice. I'm not gonna transfer items just yet because I can still hit this Kiana 2 in a timely manner. Typically when you're playing this, I just want to point out this board. So this is like a nice stable board, right? I've been playing a lot of boards where Kiana item hold just because I kind of like the unit. I feel really comfy playing around her, and I did a video when I hit the 3-star Kiana, but I've done it in many other games as well. Because it's either like if you get a Darius early, then it's like you can put the Darius in, right? Here I just level because I'll still be able to make econ, and it gives me a second Yorick, which hopefully excuse me, sorry, I had allergies. Also, if you hear me sniffling, that's why. So the second Yorick 2 I was hoping would make me strong enough to beat this guy, but it wasn't, I don't think. I think this double item Zoe kind of just shreds my whole team. Well, not shreds my whole team in this TFT term sense, but just like deletes everyone. I can sell these 2 just to make econ, right? It doesn't really matter. Like Malphite 1, Malphite 2 doesn't really make a difference. Heavenly Crest is really nice if I want to play that Kiana reroll line, because then I can put Heavenly Emblem on the Yorick and make him like an actual monster. But I roll and I hit Raid Boss, and in my head I'm thinking like, wait, I'm gonna have a Yorick 3 for sure, and he's gonna have plus 20% health, which is insane with behemoths. So I can play like a behemoth Yorick line instead, right? I can just play like towards 6 behemoth, or even like 4 behemoth. Raid Boss is just really good because it spikes me now, right? It also gives me a Yorick, so now I'm guaranteed on level 8 to have Yorick 3, right? That's the thing, right? So because like the Raid Boss gives you a free Yorick, whenever you take Caretakers, I did the math before, but let's say you take Caretakers, you want to natural 3 to 4 copies of your unit. That's because like when you level up, like let's say you level to 8, if you level to 8, you want to have 4 copies of the Yorick in order to hit 3-star, right? Because you need 9, so 5 levels if you count from stage 3, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's 6. Or sorry, it's 1 after, so it's 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So you're gonna get 5 copies. So in order to get to 9, you need 4. And then if you're going to, so this is if you're going to level 8, and then if you're going to level 9, you'll need only 3 copies because you'll level up and get 6 of them. So you only need 3 copies to get to 9, right? Because 9 is the magic number where you have 3-star of the unit. So it giving me the unit. There's also another Yorick here, but I don't actually need to take it because now I'm guaranteed to hit the Yorick if I go to level 8, right? And I'm kind of, now that I took Raid Boss, I'm not necessarily gonna go for like a reroll Kiana line, because I already have the unit, right? I already have the Yorick 3, so now it doesn't like, how do I phrase it? I have the Yorick 3 if I get to level 8. I can play around 6 Behemoth, which instead of playing like the Heavenly Kiana, which I was talking about, I'd rather just play the Behemoth line. So here, Crown Guarded, I'm thinking about it. It's like, it sounds like good. It sounds like it's okay on thing. Oh shit! Gain a 2-star Yorick. Your strongest Yorick gains 25% max health. 3-5 Yorick 3. The game's fucking over. Slam D-Claw. The game's fucking over. I don't know how to phrase how over this game. This is insane that it's not only Midnight Siphon, that because it's later in the game, it's Midnight Siphon Plus. Look at this shit. Caretakers into Raid Boss into Midnight Siphon. We're gonna watch one round of this, and then I'll go over like the how to play. This is not replicable. This is not like a valid strategy, right? This is because, like, you know, like, look at my tracker. This 7th was so fucking unlucky. I'm telling you now. This 5th was me, right? This was me. Like, I had a bad opener. I tried my best. I played really hard, and I got a 5th. These 4ths are like whatever, like, you know, things went wrong. This 7th was unjustified. This is Jesus Christ himself saying, sorry about that 7th. Sorry about trolling your elo again. Here, we'll give you a little bit of a boost. Here's a first. Go off, be happy, you know. TFT has variants. It's okay, right? Cause, like, holy shit, this is so funny to me. Like, I was laughing, I was giggling, like, every time. I was like, every time my Yorick killed something, I'm like, oh, it's so funny. I think Kiana 2, so Kiana 2 can item hold me for now. I'm playing 4 Umbral. I'll go over the team planner in a bit. I just want to show you guys in a fight. I also have Eternal Winter on the Yorick, which is really fucking insanely good, by the way. It's just like constant uptime of slowing down enemies and stunning them while my Yorick just lives forever. I'm going to tell you now, the strategy now is like, it doesn't matter, right? If you know how strong this Yorick is, it doesn't matter. I'm going straight to level 10, right? If I don't make it to level 10, then like, fucking, you know what I mean? Like, the game's over. Everybody's looking at me. All I have to do is make sure nobody hits like a 3-star 4 cost, right? Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look, they're all trying to attack this guy. I have Raid Boss, Yorick, Midnight Siphon. Now, there is a more broken item combination that happens a lot. Sometimes when you take Midnight Siphon first, you get Wrath of the Moon. And Wrath of the Moon is way, way better. It's like absolutely unbeatable. Okay, so now let's go to stats. So the first thing I want to show is, okay, so we're looking at Ornn items here. I think if we look at augments, right, I'm just sorting by average placement, right? But if you look at average placement, Midnight Siphon Plus, this is Midnight Siphon Plus. If, let's say I go Midnight Siphon here. So regular Midnight Siphon, this is like the first one you take, average like a 4.25. Which is still better. It's better than average. It's actually very strong, right? It's one of the strongest hero augments in the game. And then Midnight Siphon Plus average is much better. The reason Midnight Siphon Plus average is better is because it gives you the 2-star Yorick. So you're just a lot more. So a lot of times you get offered Midnight Siphon. You take it when you already have like 1 or 2 Yoricks, and then it gives you like 3 extra Yoricks. You're guaranteed to hit Yorick 3. And this augment is very fucking broken. Typically when you're playing it with Umbral units, right? Like take out some of these high roll variations, but a lot of times you're just playing with like vertical umbrals like Alun, Yone, etc., right? If you look at the traits and the relative delta, right, I think 6 Umbral is like the best one typically, right? You're not really trying to play it with I think 6 Behemoth isn't like its best thing anymore. Oops, I accidentally clicked 2 Behemoth. Where's 6 Behemoth? Like 4 Behemoth sometimes, but that's like very high roll. So yeah, 6 Behemoth is not that much, is not that good. It's usually you play 6 Umbral, right? We're looking at this column over here, right? It's still good, like there's different versions of it, but you can actually like go through it multiple ways, right? So then if you're going for Yorick, we'll go on Team Planner as well, just so you guys have a little bit of a guide to understand that, right? Yorick, 3-star, Midnight Siphon. Now it's kind of awkward to look at the stats. Midnight Siphon will show you like it's a little bit lower, and then Midnight Siphon Plus will be like the stats are around the same. It's just because like typically people place higher with Midnight Siphon Plus because you usually take it when you have it. Now if you hover over Yorick, I don't know how to do it. Sometimes it shows up and sometimes it doesn't. Anyways, Yorick's spell works based on his max HP as well as like AP. So basically what he'll do is he'll do damage and then he'll gain maximum HP. So he'll just keep like kind of like almost like recovering. The best items to put on him are usually Dragon Claw and Redemption, right? The reason you like Dragon Claw and Redemption on Yorick is because both of these items, if you read about it, they heal off maximum HP. Typically like the great trifecta that you do is like Dragon Claw. Let's say we put a Dragon Claw on this dude. A lot of times we'll have Dragon Claw Bramble, right? But Bramble isn't that important, but you usually put Dragon Claw, Redemption, and then some kind of chain item. Warmog is also good because he scales off of HP, right? And it gives a bunch of maximum HP, and he's already going to have a bunch of maximum HP, and he's going to keep gaining maximum HP, so that's really good. Redemption heals them for their it heals off a percentage of their maximum HP. So if they have a lot of maximum HP, then Redemption will heal that, and because Yorick keeps gaining maximum HP as each time he does his cast, Redemption gets a lot of value, and it also reduces the amount of damage that you take, right? So they take a damage reduction, right? In terms of like Steadfast's also really good because it gives you a damage reduction as well, and it also works with HP, and you take less damage. And Dragon Claw is the same way. Dragon Claw recovers you based on maximum HP. So whenever you're building like these Giga Tanks that like scale with HP, a lot of times a really good item set is Dragon Claw, Redemption, and then sometimes you'll put Bramble. In this case, Yorick likes Steadfast or Warmogs a little bit more, so you see that Bramble isn't necessarily the best item, but it's still really good. Other things you can put on him is great utility items, right? In terms of like, it doesn't show like the Ornn items, but basically in place of Bramble, like I'm gonna go for Declaw Redemption in place of Bramble. In place of Bramble and Steadfast, I'm just putting a utility item, which sometimes you see people put a Spark on him. Sometimes you see him put like a Sunfire Cape. In this case, I'm just putting a Eternal Winter, right? So now, in terms of the team builder, so when you're playing vertical Yorick, the best line I think is this one, right? So let's go Umbral. We'll click all the Umbral units, but typically what you'll see is something along the lines of this. Let's say like you. I think this is like the max cap one. Sometimes you can play this line even without the this line works even without the Yorick reroll angle. But what this is this is usually when you have an Umbral spat, you put on the Aurelia 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then like probably a Nautilus for Warden, something like this, right? And you just play towards 6 Umbral. 2 Behemoth, Dryad is just because of Azir. Azir works with the Alun for Invoker, and then you have Warden, and basically the Umbral Shield is really important, because Umbral Shield, if you hover Umbral, it gives a health execute, as well as a shield. So especially with like the Yorick that you want to live forever, the health execute is really big, as well as being like a 25% health execute. Yorick kind of whittles away at their HP, and you just want to have this full Umbral board. It's actually very strong. And one of the main carries in this comp is like Umbral Spat Irelia, because Irelia just snakes her cast around the whole board, so as soon as they hit that 25% threshold, she'll just execute. So it's really good to have like those AoE style attackers to do that type of damage. Alun does some shred, so you can delay shred, but typically you're going to itemize your Silas after your Yorick, and you'll give him like the general Silas items, right? It's usually like Spark, Crown Guard, +1, and then set. As soon as you get a set, you can scale him off the Yorick and the Silas, or the Ornn if the Ornn has more HP, and your set will do a bunch of damage as well. And typically with Yorick, you're just trying to stall. Everybody's here just trying to tickle and do some AoE as well. You're typically just going till overtime, and then your Yorick just cleans up shop. You can get overwhelmed late game, but this is like a really high cap version. Now, if you don't have an Umbral Spat, what ends up happening is you might play like some sort of variation that looks something like, where's Yone? You'll play like a Yone, and then sometimes like instead of one of these units, like let's say you don't have, let's say you're like lower level, right? You don't have like everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like let's level 8. Where's the dude? I'm looking for Kane. Sometimes you'll play something like more like this, right? And then like based on like what you hit, like you always pretty much want to have this Ornn in. You might play like a Reaper setup, right? If you're not like maximum Umbral units, then typically you're dropping like Darius, right? And you're playing something along the lines of this, right? Basically what you're doing is you're rerolling Yone and rerolling Alun, and then you're just playing 4 Umbral and supporting your Yorick like that, right? And then when you level up, you can play 6 Umbral like in a natural way, right? So you can find the set and hold on to a Darius, and then your level like 9 board or whatever, you can drop a unit like maybe probably Nautilus, right? And play something like this, right? You have options, right? What I was talking about before was that you can play the Yorick setup with like Heavenly as well. This is what I was trying to cook. Do this one at your own you're playing a lot of low cost units, so this one's more like a low cost reroll. So I wouldn't, like, you could build around this board, right? And you can just play like Lee Sin. I don't know, like this is like your max cap is something like this, right? I don't know, like a Shen. This is what I was trying to do originally if I was saying I was going to reroll Kiana, right? I would just play like 4 duelists, Heavenly, Behemoth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then my 9th unit is some sort of ghostly unit, right? Something like this, right? And then maybe like a mount, like something else. You know what I mean? But these ones don't really make that much sense. The other thing you can just do is just play Behemoth in general, right? This line used to be kind of popular, where you just stack all the Behemoths. And then your back line is usually like just like a Loon and this. Right? This used to be like an older, another style of build. This one's not as strong. They did buff 6 Behemoths, so it's probably like pretty good. But this is another variation where you just play like these dudes and then a Loon carry. And then in place of this, you can play like a Lilia, right? Or some other invoker, right? But you just play the Loon for the thing, or you could play like a Morgana in place of this. Like I'm talking like low level until you hit the Azir, right? But basically you just have like the Execute, you have the Ghostly, and you have the Umbral so that your Yorick gets his shield, right? This one's not as strong, but it's just like something to take into account. Alright, let's check in on the game. Am I winning? Level 8, 50 gold. Like I said, oh, I just lost a round, so we didn't see me win everything. But yeah, I'm just going straight to 10. I want to give a little bit of a guide. Typically, the most common Yorick line that you play with this board is the first one that I showed you. And a lot of times you're just re-rolling for a Loon 3 as well. And you're rolling on like 7 odds until you hit everything. Here, one thing to note is that I think Azir, Kayn, and Yorick are exalted, right? So I want to play towards that line, right? So eventually, my goal here, my board that I'm going to play is I'm going to switch this for Kayn, and I'm just going to play exalted on level 10. I'm level 950 gold. I don't care, because I'm 60 HP. Like, I found a set already. I have everything. I didn't roll a single time, right? I kind of didn't show most of the VOD because I wanted to give you guys the tutorial aspect of it, because I feel like that's way more beneficial than just watching me like win with Yorick, because we could watch it right now, right? Watch this. Ready? Where's this board? Like, where's the damage, right? I'm healing so much. The game's fucking over. So, yeah. This game was very simple. Obviously, like, I high rolled out of my ass, like, the first bit. So, you know, take it into account. But I'm basically just slow leveling. I'm not even rolling for anything, because I just want to make it to level 10 and then just cap out around legendaries, right? I can roll down all my gold now and just like play this board but upgrade everything, right? Like this board with Kayn and Irelia 2 and what's it called? Like Azir 2, Irelia 2, like all of that makes sense and I probably win. Here, it's like my items didn't work out. I never got a Shred component because I kind of just prioritized triple item Yorick, because I don't really care about Shred as much, because the Yorick damage is like, you know, he's either going to win out or he won't, right? The Shred doesn't matter that much, right? Because he's always going to be the last one alive. I ended up getting a Spark on Carousel, so now I can just put on the Silas because it's fine on Silas. Also, I prioritize making anti-heal before Shred in this particular case, because a Loon does offer, when she does her ult, she does do a little bit of shredding, right? So I prioritized making a Morello. I put the Morello on the Silas instantly because it's like I put Rod on Silas first, and then I ended up making Morello after. Morello is usually better on Alune just because she hits more units. And Silas doesn't. Silas is more like single target. But as we can see here, there's some boards that are very strong. This guy's a faded +1, which is like, you know, I might get out DPS'd here, especially if my backline units die. As you can see, the Yorick does get overwhelmed sometimes, right? In this case, I'm just getting like blasted by this stacking of Felios. So he's basically doing damage before I get a chance to he's doing so much damage because his Winsu ramped up that I couldn't gain the max health and heal, because the Declaw and the Redemption, they're like every like couple seconds, right? So if I'm just getting pelted, the Yorick sometimes falls off, right? And this is important to note if you're not in such a high roll position, right? Like obviously here I'm going to like level 10, right? I'm 60 gold, level 9. A lot of times you're like level 8 with like a lot less gold. You definitely have to roll for upgrades, right? Getting a Silas 2 is huge. The set 2 is huge, but it's not necessarily what you're going to hit. And a lot of times you don't even have this Azir. Typically you'd have like an Ornn, which helps out a lot. And this would be something like a Kayn or a Yone, right? If you're playing like the Yorick without the Umbral +1, it's a little bit difficult to fit in. So you're usually playing like 4 Umbral and you're going for Yone 3 and Alune 3 as well, just to be efficient rolling, right? So you can roll on level 7/level 8. Right, I'm talking like if you get Midnight Siphon first, right? I got Midnight Siphon, it gave me a Yorick 3. If you get Midnight Siphon first, you're rolling on level 7, typically on level 7, and you're going for Alune 3, because Alune 3 is very fucking strong. Here I just get absolutely obliterated, right? It's getting a little bit risky, right? My health lead is diminishing, right? But I'm gonna be level, like I'm kind of like committed at this point, right? I don't want to chicken out, because I said to myself, yo, it'll be so unfun if I don't make it to level 10 here. But I'm looking at their boards, and I'm like, if I have upgrades, I think I beat all of these people. That's the thing that I know in my head. So if I'm ever scared, I can just roll 80 gold on level 9. Like, I understand, like, you can miss and you can be unlucky, but like rolling 80 gold on level 9 to get like a Silas 2 when nobody's playing Silas, it's like, yeah, that's like, you know what I mean? It's fine. Okay, anyways, I put in the Kayn, so Kayn's exalted, so now I get exalted in, which is really strong. I'm looking for another Kayn item, but there isn't really one. So I just take adaptive, because I'm like, I'll just itemize Azir, because Azir will be the other carry. Like, I need to find Ornn. That's the main thing, right? It really sucks that I didn't have Ornn in all this time, but I didn't want to roll for Ornn, because I think other people were playing Ornn already. But the boards are really highly capped, right? A lot of people have really strong boards, because this was a spat game, right? It worked out that, like, a lot of people, like, they didn't even get it off of, they got off of Carousel, right? There was spats on Carousel. So a lot of people just like have like really, really high cap boards, and because I was like first pick all the time, I didn't get them. Anyways, now I have a Kayn 2, and you can see like the difference that Kayn 2 makes. Basically the Kayn 2 just dealing with 1 or 2 extra units makes it so that it's a lot easier for me to deal with these boards, right? Now I'm pretty sure I still lose this fight, because this fight they have Gold Collector, which will execute my Yorick, right? So, things like that makes it so that the Yorick can't go infinite, so it's a little bit scary. Now, I'm 16 health. 16 health might be 1 life, but it probably won't be. I just send it. I'm 40 gold on level 10. Let's just roll. Let's just hit all of the units that I want. Level 10, I can also fit in, like, a little bit more, right? I can fit in an extra unit here, which is really strong. And I'm just holding all the units. I put in Irelia because Irelia gives synergize with the duelist, and it's like that board that I said. I don't have an Umbral spat, but she'll still like do a bunch of tickling damage to everybody else. Sell the Wukong because I don't really need to play Wukong. I'm not playing towards like Heavenly, so I can lose that. I don't know if this guy beat me before. I think he's just playing Exalted as well, if I'm not mistaken, or he's just playing the Kayn for fun. I didn't hit my Silas, or did I hit my Silas? I don't even think I hit my Silas too. But I don't think this guy's stronger than me. Like, now with the, as you can see, like, as soon as, like, they have 1 or 2 units left, it's GG, right? You just can't get overwhelmed by somebody pelting you with damage, right? So you need to have enough of a board to help you kill the other units, right? Alune's very good, because Alune with Execute hitting backline, if I had, like, damage, if I had items to itemize this Alune, it would definitely have been stronger. I'm kind of just rolling here because I want to like hit units. Here there's another Silas too. I am 6 Umbral, so the Silas gets a really nice health shield and is really strong. I'll definitely do more than the Irelia. So I think I just swap out the Irelia for a second Silas. Right? It might look a little bit funny, but the Silas with the 6 Umbral as well as the Exalted, he's gonna go nuts, right? We'll see in the report after what my second Silas does, right? So I'm just looking around and making sure nobody's going for like a 3-star 4 cost, right? Because then I'll roll to deny. But as you can see, this is my no item Silas. Did more damage just because he lived longer, right? He was able to wrap and do a bunch of damage. Everybody dies except for this one guy. So yeah, it's kind of, the game's kind of fucking over because this is what I mean. As soon, like, I could have done this on level 9. Level 10 is just like kind of like a flex at this point. I would recommend not greeding to go 10. I think like if I rolled 80 gold on level 9, I might have even hit like Silas 3 and just win for free. But instead, I'm kind of just like, you know, I wasted a lot of gold just to like make it a point that I can make it to level 10 without rolling ones after I hit this Yorick 3. I'm just kind of rolling a little bit now. I'm looking for upgrades on either of these 2 units because it would be really big for me. So we roll a little bit, and what do we hit? We don't hit shit. I could sell the Irelia and just roll one more time. Yep, so there's set. So I'm just going to sell this and take the set. I really don't want to like lose by 1 unit and give this guy a chance, right? I just want to make sure that the game ends right now. Which it should. It should end either way. So it's like, to me, it's like it doesn't matter if I upgrade this to 0 or not because I just want to win. I could have also sold my Silas and played something else. Like played like a Lysandra that's in my shop or some other legendary unit. But I think this guy, he beat me last time with the execute, but you'll watch this time that like it's not even close, right? And that's just because like having the extra upgraded units, especially the set, you can see that like I can't get overwhelmed anymore. So as soon as the Yorick is like, you know, if it's a 1v1 between this Ashe and this Yorick, the Yorick will always win. Right? Anyways, dies of Yorick. And yeah, it's just a Giga first. Now obviously this game is a little bit fun. It's a little bit high roll. I don't want you guys to look at it and think to yourselves like, oh, he just high rolled. This is not that good. No, it's actually very good. It's just usually when you're playing, you would reroll for like a Loon or Yone. I tried to give you like, I basically cut out a lot of me just like ego tripping, watching myself rail everybody all of stage 4, where I just won every single fight. Because like that part's a little bit high roll, but I gave you guys the tutorial, so hopefully you guys can use this as a guide in some way, right? You play your strongest board early. There's a couple variations that I showed you with the Heavenly that you can play. That's a really strong board early game, and then you can play towards capping out on Yorick and 6 Umbral late game because that's very strong, right? Even though I'm raid boss and it might have been better to play 6 Behemoth, I think that in terms of just damage output, the 6 Umbral is much better, right? If you have like a Silas and a Kayn, and an Alun and a Yone all doing like extra damage with their health shields, it helps you a lot for late game. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.